So today I'm going to be walking you through a standard operating procedure that's made me $100,000 a month. I'm going to sort of give the whole thing to you so you can model off of it. It's how I structured my time when I was starting my second company. And I found this and I was literally just going through cleaning out my Google Drive. And I found it and I was like, shit, I use this thing every day. And it basically lists out all the actions that I've taken on a daily basis to build a company that now makes multi-seven figures. So this is what I use at the beginning. It's pretty awesome. My name is Charlie Morgan. I've built and scaled two companies. That's four. I don't know why I put two fingers up on both hands. But two companies, Northflow Consulting, an agency to seven figures. I've sold it, blah, blah, blah. Imperium Agency, a coaching business. I still run it. It's a multi-seven figure mastermind coaching business, basically. Don't worry, I've got no course, 997 course to sell you. We only work with established agency owners already making 10 grand a month or more, or coaches and consultants. So making 10 grand a month, we can work with you. If not, just keep watching the videos. I want to make client acquisition easy. The goal for this whole channel is to make client acquisition easy and straightforward and basically allow people to acquire more clients and not have to struggle with it anymore. So that's the goal of this channel and that's the goal of these videos. And then what I'm going to do now is hop into my computer and basically explain the SOP and just give you a rundown of my daily processes that I've used to build companies that make lots of money. Hope you enjoy the video, hope you find it useful, and I'll see you in the clip now. All right, so this is basically a day in my life. Not anymore. I don't do any of this stuff anymore. But basically, when I was starting my second company, things were really chaotic and I needed to organize my time. And basically what I did was build a daily standard operating procedure. And I just want to make sure my mic's on. Yeah, it looks like it is. We're all good. So I built a daily standard operating procedure to basically make my day more straightforward. And this was mainly just for my morning and afternoon and evening. So I had I'd follow it every morning, I'd follow it every afternoon, I'd follow it every evening. There's a few little hints and tricks I'm going to give you as I walk through here, so be sure to watch the whole thing because it's not just as straightforward as screenshotting it. And this explains all the outreach I did. We did more than this separately, but this was what I was directly responsible for because I was building the outreach systems. So funnily enough, I was building our outreach systems for our second company when our first company was already making seven figures a year. So Northflow Consulting, our agency at this point, was completely automated. We'd cracked the code for client acquisition, but with this new company, I wanted to spend the first 3 to 6 months I actually did the appointment booking myself. I did it myself because it's the most important thing for us. And I feel like a lot of people are lazy and just want to have an easy outsourced life. So I didn't want to do that. So this is what I did basically. So every morning, this took me about 30 minutes. Typically this would take me longer than 30 minutes. It was probably more likely to be an hour and a half because I added a few things in here that I did as well. So the first thing I do is log my health data. I don't wear an Oura ring anymore, but I used to wear an Oura ring and basically track my sleep every day until it got to the point where I was trying to over-optimize. So I stopped. Then what I would do is I'd log or tag booked prospect as booked. So this means if people booked calls, which they did, then I'd have to log them in a spreadsheet and also in the emails that I was using. So I knew they'd be booked. Then I'd log my date. So this is the first thing I did almost always. The first thing I did was log data. So I'd log yesterday's Loom data, yesterday's Facebook data, and yesterday's LinkedIn data. So we were doing Loom cold email, which we still do. We were doing Facebook outreach and LinkedIn outreach, which we still do. And every day I would come and I'd log the metrics. So from yesterday, how many did I send? How many responses have I got? How many calls have I booked? I was so metric obsessed, and this is really why we've been so successful. And I'd keep a log of it every single day. It literally wouldn't take long. General email and Slack check. So then what I would do is I'd check my emails and I'd also check Slack, basically just to figure out if my team needed me. Well, we didn't have a team at that point, but just to figure out what we needed, and if I had emails to attend to from the other company, I deal with them. This is really important because what then happens is once I finished checking my email and Slack, I close email and Slack. So I check my email and my Slack literally once a day. I say that ironically with Slack literally open here, but I'm in a conversation with the sales rep of ours at the moment. But generally speaking, I would check it once or twice a day, email specifically. Slack I'm on a lot more often because our team's on there. But this is important. You don't want to work with your fucking email open. You don't want to work with anything that can distract you. So as soon as it's just one thing at a time. Once I've logged Facebook data, I log out of the spreadsheet. Once I've logged LinkedIn data, you don't want to have this sort of trail of tabs. You just want to do one thing at a time. Then I would reply to engaged prospects. So this is people that wanted an appointment through email. Then I'd follow up on engaged prospects. So once I've done all that stuff, I'd be replying to people who want to book a call, and I'd be following up on people who said they want to book but haven't. So that was the next activity. Then I'd email today's call. So if I had a sales call, or I usually had a lot of calls, So when I had sales calls that day, I'd email them just to be like, hey, just like, I'm excited for our call, let me know. Because like you can use Calendly reminders, but nothing beats like a little handwritten message just saying I'm looking forward to talking to you, sent from my iPhone. Check Facebook group for support questions. So then we had clients, so I would just basically log into Facebook to support any clients and answer any questions they had. Then I do a messenger check. So on Facebook, so after doing all this stuff, I'd do Facebook. So like I would start by checking our Facebook group, our paid Facebook group, to answer questions and reply to comments. Then I'd log out of that. I'd log out of Facebook specifically. So like if I go to Facebook right now, you'll notice I'm not logged in. If I go to Messenger right now, you'll notice I'm not logged in. If I go to LinkedIn right now, you'll notice I'm not logged in. If I go to, God forbid, Instagram or something, I'm not logged in. Like I don't log in. I'm not logged into basically anything. And like what I like to do is like I'll check Facebook. I'll go in there. I have this cool thing called Undistracted. So I hide my Facebook newsfeed. On YouTube, I hide my recommendations. On Twitter, I hide everything. On LinkedIn, I hide everything. So when I go onto Facebook, all I can do is navigate to what I need to navigate to. So I go on Facebook and then I would reply to the support questions. I'd go in the group. I'd go through like, well, if I show you let me show you an example of this. So I go on Facebook, like this is what I'd still do it because we still have the group. I do it once a day now. And then I come in here and then I click here and then basically most of my notifications are friend requests because it's the only notification you cannot turn off. I've turned off every single Facebook notification except from comments that people have, like comments on posts in our paid group and people posting in our paid group. So the only notifications I get on Facebook are valuable. Like they're ones that I actually need to attend to. So everything else is turned off. If you're wondering how to do that and engineer it, you go to settings and privacy and then you go to notifications and then basically you'll see everything's off, right? So it's cool. So I do that and then once I've done that and replied, I log out and then I usually X this. Then I go into Messenger and reply to any engaged prospects and add people who are engaged to my engaged sheet. So I'd still do Facebook outreach at this point, so I'd be doing that. And then I do LinkedIn. Same with LinkedIn. I'd basically be checking to see if we've got any engaged prospects and adding them to engaged sheets. By the way, this wasn't fun. This sucked for like 6 months. I really did not enjoy doing this, but like you kind of just have to if you want to build something. Then I'd send my outreach on Facebook and then do outreach on LinkedIn. I'd use videos to do this. So Facebook video outreach, then LinkedIn video outreach to all new connections. Then I would open a new tab and I'd find 30 prospects that I could sell to on Facebook and I'd send friends to all people. So I'd open 30 different tabs up here and then I'd go through and add them all. And then the next day, probably about half of them would have accepted so I could send 15 videos. By the way, I wouldn't exceed 15 videos on Facebook because as soon as you do that cold, like your account gets banned, usually over time. Then I would send 40 looms and label them as main. So what this means is I'd send 40 cold looms through email. Like I did this all myself. Everything I did myself. We had someone recording looms. Oh no, actually no, at this point I was doing manual looms. So I've recorded them all and sent them all. This actually took a lot longer than an hour and a half. I mean, this is maybe like a 3-hour work now that I think about it. Maybe a little longer. Send 40 looms and label as main, and then send 40 follow-ups and label as follow-ups, and then log out of accounts and phone away. So I had very specific systems for logging follow-ups and stuff. So I'd send new looms, and then I'd send all my follow-ups, and then I'd log out of basically everything and put my phone away. So like at this point, like this is done. So I like to structure my work life so that I can like go through each day and do it, and then it's done. And I'm not sitting here like with all my tabs open, my spreadsheets open, and then I'm not trying to send looms whilst replying to people on Facebook. Like it's kind of like step 1, finish, done, close. Step 2, finish, done, close. Step 3, finish, done, close. Like it's one thing at a time. It's honestly the secret to success is just doing one fucking thing at a time. And you'll notice here, like with this YouTube video, like all I have is what I'm working on and then my YouTube content schedule up here. And then I shouldn't even have Slack open, right? It's hidden anyway. But that's it. And I just do one thing at a time, and it's the most efficient way to work. And it's also like I find that when I'm most anxious and chaotic and stressed is when I'm trying to do more than one thing. And then in the afternoon, so after lunch, I would check email for replies, check Messenger for replies, check LinkedIn for replies, and then log out and put it away. So like I'd be checking like if people had replied positively to my messages in the morning, then I check it again in the afternoon, and then I check it again in the evening. You don't want to be neurotically like having your notifications on to reply to people immediately because it seems unprofessional and weird. So I just reply like every now and then. And then in the evening, I'd be doing more email follow-ups. Then I'd be doing follow-ups on Engage and Calendly prospects. Then I'd be doing Facebook follow-ups. I'm just going to quickly make sure that this is restricted. That's fine. Then I'd be doing Facebook follow-ups on Engage and Calendly prospects. Then I'd be replying to emails, and I'd be checking other emails. So like I'd be replying to more prospects. I don't know why. Let's pull that curtain. There we go. That's much better. Then I'd be checking Facebook, Messenger, and Group and LinkedIn and replying to engaged people. Then I'd log out of social apps and log out of all the apps on my phone. Then I'd summarize my day. I have this daily planner. It's pretty awesome. I made a video on it a while ago. If you want it, you can check out the video. Just type in Charlie Morgan daily planner. It should come up. I'd log my day, and then I'd cross off all my tasks in my calendar and color code my day. And then I'd finish my health tracking sheet. So like I can now like sort of log like all of my habits. Then I'd plan my day tomorrow, and then I'd basically predict future tasks that I had to do. So like obviously like this is the morning, which would be like from maybe like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. to like 12 or 1 p.m. And then in the evening, so it didn't take long. Like what I was doing in between this time, because I'd work like 10 to 12 hours a day. So outside of the 4 hours of work I was doing on these routines, I'd basically be making our program and working on our product. So like we had like our KPIs set for how many clients we wanted to sign, and we knew that we could sign the amount of clients we wanted with the amount of outreach we were doing here. And so like I did this for like 6 months, and I think we signed like probably about, I don't know, like we probably made like 500 grand with me doing this, just like selling a 5K course. We probably signed like our first 100 clients in the first 6 months. Maybe less than that. It might have been like 70 or something, but we made a good like multi 6 figures, like 400 grand or 500 grand, just with me doing like 40 looms a day and then 15 to 30 videos on LinkedIn. So that was basically how I structured it. I wanted to show you this video just to sort of give you like an idea, because like you want to SOP your life basically. If you want predictable results, you need to have predictable behavior, right? And if you want like consistency, you need to have consistency in your behavior. And I found that this is a great way. So I would just basically have this in my bookmarks up here, and like every morning, like instead of like chaotically just starting my day, I'd be like, right, I know exactly what I need to do, but often I'd forget, right? So by having this, I'd have it here, and then I'd basically have this tab open and then be like, right, step number 1, log health data. And I do that. And when you've got this, it's kind of like more of an accountability thing, but it gives you so much structure. And procrastination manifests from ambiguity. If you don't know what you're doing, and if it's inconsistent and a bit chaotic, and you don't know, like if things don't line up at specific times and happen in like, if this, then that algorithms in your mind, then you're far less likely to actually partake in the behavior and get what you want. So I thought I'd make this video. It should help you make client acquisition a little bit easier for yourself. It made me a couple of $100 grand and basically got our second business off the ground. Nowadays, I don't do any of this stuff. We've got a team that does basically everything. I don't really have to do anything. It's kind of cool. But yeah, this is what I did. And it might be useful for you. It kind of just like documents my thinking and my process. And yeah. If you found this video helpful, do the subscribe thing, blah, blah, blah. If you are basically established, so if you're already making 10 grand a month or more as an agency owner or a coach or a consultant, click the first link in the description. It's basically going to walk you through how to like systemize client acquisition and make client acquisition really easy. It's kind of just how we help people be on these videos. If you're not yet making 6 figures, then just don't click the link, because we can't help you. We only work with established people. You can just use these videos for now, and then once you get to 6 figures, you can maybe hop into the thing that we've got, the little project we're working on. But that's everything from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment what you found most useful, just so I have more feedback and can make better videos for you. Like the video if you did like it, and subscribe if you want more content similar to this. Do not turn the bell notification thing on, because if you do that, like, well, it will just distract you from your work. You shouldn't really be on YouTube anyway, and you know that as well as I do. But anyway, that's enough from me. Have a good day. I'll talk to you next one.